introducing me. I'm the CEO of Talking Medicines. Talking Medicines is a data insights company. We're headquartered in Scotland, in Glasgow, and we have a global footprint, and we certainly have global ambition. Our talented and growing team are our greatest assets. They work from across the UK, and we've really excelled during the pandemic through adapting our work practices and staying really focused to our mission. So it was great to have Tern PLC invest in us in November 2020, making us the most recent of the investees in a late seed round. And tonight, really, in just 15 minutes, I'm going to give you a little bit of our story, a story that we think is more relevant than it's ever been. I think you would all agree that there's nothing more important than your health, the health of your family, and the health of your friends. And what we do at Talking Medicines is we capture the voice of the patient with artificial intelligence. So we're on a mission to become the world's organizer of patient intelligence by medicine. And what we mean by that is we want to be the eyes and the ears of what people say about their medicines in the real world. 50% of medicines are just wasted. They're not taken, they're not understood, they potentially go down the toilet. And that loop between patients and pharmaceutical companies about how medicines are taken in the real world isn't working. It's never worked. Lots of people are trying to address it, and we certainly believe we're part of that solution. And the reason we think that we can be part of it is because people talk about their medicines. They talk every day. They talk in unstructured ways, they talk in plain language, and there's billions of posts on public and private social digital networks. The medicines that people are talking about are part of a huge global pharmaceutical industry. As many of you may know, there's 130,000 medicine packs. That filters into 15,000 key medicine brands. The sector itself turns over 1.3 trillion. And pharma itself spends £30 billion on marketing each year. When we say that Walt Disney spends $3 billion, a 10 times hike on that for pharma means they're big investors in marketing. And yet, there's no robust, systematic feedback on what patients say about their medicines going back to pharma. Once somebody leaves the pharmacy, the data stops. The feedback that pharma do get is messy and unstructured, and this is where Talking Medicines come in. So we address the problem that pharma companies are disconnected from their patients. They're governed by regulation to protect patient safety, but those rules have also meant that the sector, through inertia and slow adoption, has been unable to take advantage of the tools that other sectors have enjoyed to build and measure brand equity and customer experience. The customer experience that pharma listen to is about health professionals, but the ultimate beneficiary is patients, and it's patients that we want them to listen to. The feedback from patients is largely filtered because of the focus from the industry on health professionals, so it doesn't necessarily get translated. Medics and patients do not speak the same language. There needs to be interpretation. So at a time when most pharmaceutical companies will declare that they're patient-centric, they have it in their mission statements, they don't actually have a way to listen to that patient feedback at scale, creating a blind spot. So the blind spot I just mentioned is a lack of structured patient feedback, and that just got a whole lot worse as a result of a global pandemic that we're also aware of. Patients haven't been visiting their doctors and consultants face-to-face. There's actually less feedback even coming through that indirect loop. Pharma reps who have been the contact with doctors and consultants haven't been able to visit them. So again, less of that feedback is coming through. Face-to-face traditional research has been difficult, and advocacy groups and patient groups have been overwhelmed in terms of people trying to find people like themselves online. So the traditional ad hoc patient feedback loop has faltered even more during the pandemic. And at the same time, the pharmaceutical sector, as Al said, has found itself short in digital skills at a time when all industries need to be digital first. We've heard many times firsthand from clients in pharma companies how they know and they realise that they need to transition from effectively digital skills that were created in the millennia to today, and particularly embracing data-driven decision making. There's no going back for the sector. And this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity right now to accelerate change in a way that was unable to happen before the pandemic. And at Talking Medicines, we've got a solution to robust, actionable patient insight, which has come at the right time to disrupt and transform access to patient feedback. So our new global data insight service is called Patient Metrics. It's driven by clever tech that uses artificial intelligence, machine learning, and natural language processing. We have patents pending on our invention and the way in which we capture, structure, and curate the voice of the patient by medicine into actionable insights for pharma companies. Our proposition is a SaaS model selling data subscriptions to our target persona of marketing directors within pharma companies. And we do this by sourcing unstructured feedback via the billions of posts that people put up every day. It could be on Twitter, it could be on Reddit, it could be on a forum, it could be on a blog site, and it could be anywhere within the world. We access that raw data legally and ethically as source input for our artificial intelligence. The AI models that we've developed have been trained by our own gold standard training data, and we create that through our own team of annotators. We currently have a team of about 20 annotators, and we constantly evaluate our quality against the human standards of accuracy. And what that means is that we're able to process the unstructured text at high level text, at high level of robustness, to be able to identify and isolate the voice of the patient. We separate the voice of the patient from the noise, and the noise could be the voice of the press, it could be the noise of health professionals, or it could just be others who are posting who are not specifically talking about their own experience about medicines, and we'll be able to filter to that gold of the patient voice. Medicines are uniquely identifiable in text by their name, so we can match the names, we can normalize them across markets, so that we can ID a medicine brand to the database that we've built and we hold of the properties of 130,000 medicine packs. We embrace regulation. We work with the regulators, the FDA, the MHRA, and European Meds to bring on new medicines and to stay up to date on the medicine database. Once the signals are filtered and structured, we then apply a mathematical model to create a patient confidence score by medicine. This score is being built by our data scientists and statisticians to give a benchmark, which is a scorecard on how patients are feeling about a medicine at a particular time and over time. The patient confidence score trends in real time. It shows the highs and the lows versus competitor brands, and it shows a line graph against time. The sector operates on historical logistical data about how medicines are prescribed. Data sources can be weeks or months out of date. Our data is very different. It gives a pulse right now on actual patient experience. Deeper analysis can then be accessed on the cause and effect for why the score changes to give a more depth insight. The problem that we're solving for our pharma clients is their lack of tools to know whether their marketing is cutting through, hearing it for the first time directly from patients. By giving a patient confidence score that is generated directly from patient feedback at scale, we're taking out the middle layer of feedback and placing patients right within the marketing departments of pharma. The actionable insight means that marketing can be evaluated as well as being used in planning future patient strategies and support. The benefit is more efficient marketing spend and ultimately keeping patients on scripts to drive commercial return to those pharma companies. But the ultimate benefit is better patient outcomes. Our go-to-market is a combination of inside sales and white glove account management to make sure that we land and we expand within pharma companies where we can scale by user, by location, and by medicine. We're already already working closely with a number of large pharma companies to develop the proposition across the UK and US markets before rolling out more globally. We work to high data quality standards, and since our scores are generated by machine, our data doesn't have adverse event reporting implications for the industry, which means the traditional barriers to social feedback have been bypassed. We're not regulated through any specific pharma frameworks, but we believe this is an opportunity for us to lead and create those frameworks for data quality standards in this sphere. The future product roadmap is exciting. We have opportunities to accelerate data sourcing, release new features with deeper conceptual insight that's coming from our AI machines around entities such as symptoms, feelings, gender, severity, adherence. We put the customer at the centre of our strategy of product-led growth, with a customer advisory group already in place, and we will continue to listen to their needs, including how they can combine their own data sets along with ours within the product. We'll fully launch into our beachhead market, but also we have adjacent opportunities in pharmacy, health insurance, and other areas within large pharma. Patient metrics is unique in being a data insight service. We don't believe that pharma will be able to create this kind of service themselves because they are held back by regulation, fear, and inertia. We differentiate ourselves through the way that we process social intelligence specifically for the industry so that they can come to us as a supplier. When we look at the competitive set, they sit around these adjacencies, and here I've focused on what makes us different. Social media analytics, which is a £7 billion market, is growing with a compound annual growth rate of 23%, with companies like Brandwatch trailblazing the change. Market research is a £73 billion market, with companies like Kantar operating in pharma. Pharma service outsourcing, led by IQVIA, is a massive £61 billion market. And we're different because we train our models to strip out the voices that are not coming from the patient, to take away the noise and provide high-grade feedback. That takes us apart from the social analytics market. We uniquely match to the medical taxonomy of medicines in a way that our competitors don't. This takes us aside from the research companies. Our database of medicines has been built with input from those regulators and is actively maintained. It's a huge asset for us. The patient confidence score itself is a unique measure from the AI machines, and we'll establish it in the same way as NPS, Net Promoter Score, because people know that that is the way to cut through and get a score for likelihood to recommend. This overcomes many of the concerns that pharma have about social intelligence, when they're worried that by embracing social intelligence, they're held back by live feeds and adverse events and regulatory boundaries. The patient confidence score being generated from a machine bypasses that. Finally, we only service the pharma sector, and we've designed our social intelligence to meet the compliance standards of the sector. We don't work across FMCG brands or other sectors in a way many competitors do, so we're able to focus on the needs of pharma. Many of the companies I've profiled could potentially be partners of the future. Because our patient confidence score is unique, it can complement others who are also supplying into pharma. Coming on to our team is strong. The founding team is led by myself, Elizabeth and Scott. We all have previous startup experience and skills that complement each other. We bridge the worlds of marketing, life sciences and tech, which has led to our unique proposition for pharma, in that we're bridging marketing excellence through artificial intelligence alongside understanding the rules of engagement and compliance around medicines. We know patients, we know medicines, we know patient data, and we know that artificial intelligence is the next frontier for pharma. Our board is strong with non-exec Ben Cons, formerly a director at IQVIA. A number of our senior team have been at IQVIA or Brandwatch. We have a customer advisory board that represents the industry, and we're committed to listening to customers. We have charters for both customer excellence and patient excellence. Our Sisto from Tern joined as our chair in November, and has given us strong board leadership in getting ready for Series A investment this year and accelerating our product-led growth strategies. We've benefited from the bi-monthly meetings that Tim mentioned with the other Tern portfolio CEOs, and we enjoy the positive learning environment for acceleration and scale. We look forward to working further with Tern as we move into our next stage. We have a strong commitment to ESG, particularly through driving better patient outcomes and in our team's commitment to diversity and investment in young people. So, to finish, to summarise, we have a vision and ambition to scale Talking Medicines into the global leader in organising the voice of the patient by medicine. We're on our way to achieving this, and we're excited to have our team in place ready for our next stage of global commercialisation. Tern have added significant value to us since November, and we look forward to accelerating together. I hope that the story you've heard tonight shows you how we're contributing to a healthier world, ultimately connecting pharma to their patients by medicine for better patient outcomes, alongside meeting successful stretch business milestones to scale Talking Medicines as the world's organiser of patient intelligence by medicines. Thank you for listening, and if you can follow us, please do, at Talking Medicines and Patient Metrics. Thank you. Back to you, Al.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you for the